This is only a review. I'll be taking a look at the Sony Bloggie Touch Pocket Camcorder, and this is my full review. I do have one up on my channel, but I didn't show the camcorder itself, but now I do have the camcorder, so let's get on with the review. So anyway, this does come in two different versions, a 4GB model and an 8GB model. The 4GB model will run you around $179, and the 8GB model will run you around $200, and I did get the 8GB model, and there is no hard drive or no external card slots. It only got a flash drive, and the flash memory is only 4 or 8 gig. You can't get any bigger than 8GB. For some people that might be okay, but in reality it's kind of small, especially if you take a lot of video or you take videos every day and stuff. 8GB is kind of small. This camera is made out of brushed aluminum. It is really good and solid in the hand, which is really good. It is in a plastic feeling like the Philips camcorders or any other pocket camcorder. This is a brushed aluminum, so it does feel good in the hand. It does say Sony, and there's the lens. It does got silver around it, and the lens does boost a 5x digital zoom. Excuse me, it is a 5x digital zoom, which means that when you zoom in, it will get pixelated. So try not to zoom in as much as you can. But it does got a 5x digital zoom if you need to zoom in for any reason. But I highly recommend not zooming in on this camcorder because it will be pixelated and blurry when you zoom in. It'll make the picture grainy. Anyway, I did get it in the black color, and I do make it in different colors, not just black. No matter which model you get, the 4GB, you can choose different colors. And this will shoot video at 1080p or 720p, 720p at 30 or 60 frames per second, and 1080p only at 30 frames per second. And it will also take still pictures at 12.8 megapixel. And as you can see on the body, it does contract a lot of fingerprints, but you'll just have to wipe off the camera because it will conduct a lot of fingerprints, or it will have smudges and fingerprints all over it because it is like a glossy finish, so we'll have fingerprints on it. So I'll go ahead and start looking around the body. So on this side of the body, it says Bloggie Touch, and then it got your mono microphone, the on-off button right there, and then you got your button to snap the pictures, and it does got autofocus. Moving to the back of the camera, you got your 3-inch touchscreen. It is a touchscreen, and of course it does smudge too, like the front, but you'll have to wipe it off. And then there's the button to take your video. And you just click that big red button and it takes your video. On the bottom of the camera, you got your tripod support, a port for your strap, and a flip-out USB arm, and it does come with an extender in the box if for some reason you can't plug it into your computer because your computer's in the wrong spot or something, or the USBs are in the back or something. It does got an extender so you can plug it into your computer anyway. But all you do is really just plug this into the computer, and you can transfer all your videos and pictures straight to the computer without any cable. And this is just plug and play, and it does record in a JPEG for video for photos and a MP4 format for videos. And it does got some editing software built on it, but nothing special. Basically, all I do is it just organizes the pictures and photos, and the program on the Bloggie Touch itself, the editing software, the program itself, lets you also upload them to like sites like Facebook or YouTube. But there's nothing really special about the onboard program they give you that lets you upload stuff. Nothing special. You can't edit or anything. It's not like a Vegas or Adobe Premiere or Pro. Nothing really special in that category. So the software they give you is not anything special. And on this side of the camera, you do got a mini HDMI port. I'll go ahead and open it up. There it is. It is mini. It's not included in the box, but you'll have to buy your own HDMI port, basically. Go ahead and close that. I'll go ahead and turn on the camera itself, or the camcorder. It says Bloggie, and it only takes about 1 or 2 seconds to boot up. On the main screen, you got your options, you got your timer. It does have a self timer of 2 or 10 seconds. 2 or 10 seconds. Then you got your playback button and your wide and telezoom, your zoom button on the side. You can't zoom in. You can't zoom in on the camera itself. You have to use a touchscreen. There's no physical button. You got to use a touchscreen to zoom. And then it tells you how many minutes you can take on videos, and same thing, how many pictures you can take. And it does show a battery life, and I am in 1080p at 30 frames per second, and I could do 1 hour and 45 minutes, and I am in 8 megapixel pictures at 16:9, and I can take 1,252 pictures, and you can change those settings. You got a 4:3 ratio at 12 megapixels. You got 16:9 at 8 megapixels and 16:9 at 2 megapixel, and then you got movie modes at 1080p, 30 frames per second, 720p at 60 frames per second, or 720p at 30 frames per second. So you can change how you want to record and shoot photos, which is nice. And then you got your options, but there's nothing really special about options. You can't go all manual. In fact, you can't even change anything. You can't change ISO, you can't change shutter speed, you can't change exposure, nothing. But you do got some settings, like you got beep, language settings, demo, initial, HDMI, loon settings, format, date and time settings. That's basically it. And then if you press the playback button, that's where all your photos and videos are stored. If you want to play one back or look at one, you just tap the screen and it will come up on the screen. And this does got an accelerometer on it. I don't know if I mentioned, but it does got an accelerometer, just like an iPhones or iPod touches. And then on this screen, when you're looking back at your pictures or video, you can change the volume. You can delete the picture, or you could click on that button on the side and it lets you upload it to Facebook, Flickr, YouTube, my best friend, my team, mom and dad, their own website basically. So you can share it later basically, but you do have to have a computer. Even when you click on like Facebook or YouTube, it doesn't got Wi-Fi. So after you click on those, you still got to plug it into the computer to transfer it using their software built on this device. And since it's an 8 gigabyte, you only get about 7.8 or 7.9 gigabyte out of the box, because that program does take something off the memory, and the program that's on it to run it does take some memory also. So I'll go ahead and exit out of here. And you can choose certain videos or photos to delete, or you can do them one at a time if you want to. And that's basically all that's on the camera itself, nothing special. So basically, there's no manual mode on this camera. Basically, whatever you shoot at is what you're going to get. So whatever you point at is what you're going to get. Basically, of course, like most pocket camcorders, this does suffer in low light. So don't expect anything good in low light or no light. It can't perform at all. Basically, you need a lot of light, like sunlight or good indoor light, to take videos. And picture quality on here is not the best, even though it's 12.8 megapixel. I would have to actually say that pictures on here aren't the best. Video's pretty amazing, but I mean, don't expect anything good either with the video. Video's okay if you're taking like YouTube videos or Facebook videos, but don't expect anything professional, even though it's high definition. Don't expect anything professional out of this camera. And for $200, I would have to say this ain't actually worth it, because for one, 8 gigabyte memory is not really big enough for high definition videos, and it doesn't have any manual features or any features at all. Basically, whatever you point at is what you're gonna get. So I would have to say these aren't actually worth $200, not even $179 for the 4 gigabyte. But what I do like about it is it does feel sturdy in the hand, which is a good thing, because it is brushed aluminum, it's not plastic, and it is really thin. Of course, the zoom's not any good because it's only 5x digital zoom, which makes the picture grainy. And up close shooting, like micro shooting, like if you're doing unboxings for YouTube, up close shooting is really bad. So I highly not recommend it if you're doing unboxings and stuff. It has a hard time focusing on up close subjects. Sometimes it wants to focus and sometimes it doesn't focus. It really all depends. And since you can't do manual focusing, it kind of makes it hard. It does got autofocus. I mean, if you're outside and stuff and you're shooting videos outside, the focusing is good. But when you do like indoor videos or videos where you're doing up close stuff, like micro videos or like text or boxes that are really close up to the lens, it has a hard time focusing, which is one of the downsides of this camera. The battery life is really, really good. You get like an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours, which is really good. It does come in different colors, like I said, which is also a good thing. There's no ports like microphone ports or audio ports, so you're stuck with a mono microphone. It does only record in mono. And one thing bad about it is the placement of the microphone on this camcorder is really bad. So even though you know that the microphone's on top, sometimes you still forget that the microphone's on top. So sometimes you'll have your hand like this and you'll be recording it, and you'll cover up the microphone and you'll sound like you're in a box or muffled. And I forgot to mention, on this side you got your 2 speakers, and one downside about this is when you play that video on the actual device itself, the videos sound really, really low. Even when you have it at the highest volume, you can barely hear your videos, which is another downside. And since it does got an accelerometer, you can record like this, or you can record like this. But if you record in standard mode, just like a flip or any other camcorder, if you record it normally, then your videos will be cut in half. It'll have 2 black bars on the side, and it'll be a small box in the middle of the screen. So you have to record like this every time you shoot videos. If you shoot like this, you'll get a full screen or normal screen on a regular LCD TV or YouTube. You'll get it in big screen. But if you record like this, you only get it in the small box. The sides of the screen are chopped off and there's black. And since you have to record like this, the tripod mount is on the wrong side, so you have to plug it in a tripod like this. So you have to have a tripod that actually swivels to the side so you can plug it in. You can't do it standing up like this, or you'll get those two black bars across the screen, and your video will be really small. I really don't know why they put an accelerometer on here. I would prefer the camcorder recording like normal style, like this. But for some reason, you have to record like this because of the accelerometer they put in here. So I give the Sony Bloggie Touch 8GB model an 8 out of 10 just because the zoom's bad. Zoom's bad, microphone's in the wrong place. 8GB is not really big enough. Videos aren't amazing, it suffers in low light and there's no features at all. So I give the Sony Bloggie Touch 8GB model an 8 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review and I'll see you guys later in my next video.